Hi everyone, here's some of what's heading your way tonight to your news at 9.
A group of Pittsburgh State University students is trying to have an impact on their campus and community this Earth Day. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
Also going to check out some other Earth Day celebrations, including students' work at Missouri Southern.
A two-day climate summit brings 40 world leaders together at the White House virtually. I'm Jillian Turner in Washington. I'll have more on President Biden's proposal to cut carbon emissions and what that impact may be coming up.
Doug Hetty has weather. Danny Terzer has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Aubie. A Missouri Senate Budget Committee votes against funding the voter-approved Medicaid expansion. The budget panel voted 7-7 on a Republican-sponsored proposal that would have set money aside to pay for the program. That tied vote means the proposal failed. Missouri voters last year amended the state constitution to extend government health care to thousands more low-income adults. But now the legislature is arguing over whether to pay for it. The leader of the Budget Committee says it's now up to the full Senate to make a final decision on funding for the program. Authorities in Ottawa County, Oklahoma say a man has died after a motorcycle crash. The crash happened yesterday around 6:30 p.m. on North Netta Road in Pitcher near the intersection of East 20 Road. Authorities say 46-year-old Joe Bob Rickey of Commerce was headed south when he hit a pothole, lost control of his bike, and crashed. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Law officers searched for at least 3 more suspects after a series of drug raids in southeast Kansas. Warrants remain active for Kevin Pratt and Jessica Rogers from Iola, Timothy Mishler from Chanute as well. They're among 12 suspects who were sought in KBI raids yesterday in Neosho County, Allen County, and Montgomery County, Kansas, following an 8-month-long investigation of drug crimes, including distribution of methamphetamine. One of the raids was at this location on North Garfield in Chanute, where officers say they found suspicious explosive devices. They've arrested a total of 9 people so far, 6 suspects from Chanute, 2 from Iola, 1 from Cherryville. For a complete list of arrests and charges, head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt has signed legislation to increase penalties for blocking roadways and grant immunity to some motorists who kill or injure rioters. The measure is one of a series of proposals across the country aimed at cracking down on protesters. The bill makes it a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail for demonstrators to block a public street. It also grants motorists criminal and civil immunity if they kill or injure someone while fleeing a riot. Doug Hetty joining us now. The first look at the forecast. So it's going to be chilly tonight, but then you look at the last 2 nights. It's not going to be that bad, right?
No, not at all. In fact, I think last night was our last freeze of the spring season, which is good as we dip down to 30 degrees. 59 for a high. At least we are trending in the right direction, but we should be topping out into lower 70s. Look at the rain increasing over the past couple hours. This is very light rain, a few bursts of moderate rain, but you can see the showers are rolling through, and where the yellows are popping up on the radar, that is showing us a few heavier batches of showers, but these are going to continue through the night. In fact, Jordan, it looks like they're going to switch over to possibly some strong thunderstorms by the time we head into tomorrow afternoon, and very heavy amounts of rain. We'll talk about that here in a bit.
All right, Doug. Thanks so much as always. Students at Pittsburgh State University are trying to make a lasting difference this Earth Day. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the story.
Sustainability isn't something huge that's unattainable.
That's what a group of seniors at Pitt State want to show their fellow classmates and the community. Emily Romble and Nicholas Della Camara are part of a group of seniors at the university putting together the school's first campus community green guide.
It's just basically a guide that is going to highlight a lot of what Pittsburgh State University does in regards to sustainability, so a lot of their initiatives, just what they do on campus.
From how they heat the buildings with steam instead of fossil fuels to how they plant native plants to help nurture the environment.
We wanted to take it a step further and incorporate local businesses because we believe that shopping locally is another part of sustainability, and we wanted to promote that within the Pittsburgh community.
One of them is Root Coffee House, where they conserve electricity, water, and use reusable dishes.
I think it's really cool, and I know it's really important to some people to support businesses that are doing their part. So I think that it will help people that are really interested in that know which places they would prefer to go to.
But perhaps the most important thing in the guide will be ways for incoming students and residents to be more sustainable.
It's just like everyday practices that you can do that will benefit you, the university, and the community.
We believe that sustainability is the way of the future, and we hope that this guide is a step towards that.
In Pittsburgh, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Students are going to be finishing the guide next month with plans for it to be available to students and the public this fall. Ascension Via Christi in Pittsburgh is not only celebrating Earth Day, but also recognizing the lives lost during this pandemic. This was done by planting a grove of trees as a living memorial. Officials say everyone on their staff has been impacted by the pandemic in some way, and this memorial will represent their mission while also helping the environment.
And so we took this time to use Earth Day to reflect upon those folks that we have cared for, those folks that we've lost, the tremendous energy that's been put forth by our medical staff.
The new tree grove is north of the hospital's parking lot. Earth Day was also celebrated over at MSSU. The Environmental Health and Safety Club did a campus-wide cleanup. Work was done on the native tall grass prairie, the cross-country course, areas along Turkey Creek, and along Newman Road. 13 teams of people did the work.
So today's event was to gather students to come together and work as a team and just clean up our campus and the surrounding area.
Students also had a chance to win a $100 prize for all that hard work they did today. President Biden and the leaders of dozens of nations are using Earth Day to come up with creative solutions to battle climate change. None of this cheap, though, so Congress wants a say, of course. Fox News correspondent Jillian Turner has more on the climate crisis from Washington.
President Biden kicked off the two-day virtual summit on this Earth Day, unveiling ambitious plans to cut carbon emissions in the U.S. by half in just 9 years and even more in the decades ahead.
These steps will set America on a path of net zero emissions economy by no later than 2050.
It's the driving force behind his $2 trillion infrastructure plan. But critics say that plan and its higher taxes, along with pressure now on banks to scale back fossil fuel financing, could really stifle a national economy that is still reeling from the pandemic. Take a listen to Congressman Andy Barr.
And it's going to threaten jobs, it's going to threaten U.S. competitiveness, and bottom line is it's going to cede competitiveness to China.
There were plenty of ideas and a lot of proposals.
We can build back better from this pandemic by building back greener.
But critics say countries are only held to the honor system.
The hollow commitments these countries made back in 2015 carry no serious means for enforcement.
Activists now insist the time for talking is up. Many scientists say extreme weather events like floods and mudslides and blizzards are becoming more frequent due to human influence on the climate. The two-day summit is putting U.S. rivals like Russia and China on the record as well, but on day one, both were short on specifics and big on calls for cooperation. In Washington, Jillian Turner, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor one of our four-state heroes. James Gamble served in the U.S. Army. Native of Miami, Gamble earned his parachute wings and was an expert rifleman. We are proud to thank and salute Specialist James Gamble. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Heddy's up next with a complete look at the forecast. A bit later in sports, the number 6 ranked Carl Junction Bulldogs and number 1 ranked Willard squaring off today. This one with a dramatic finish.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a little bit better of a day today, at least temperature-wise, even though we had a lot of clouds increasing during the afternoon. Another freeze during the morning hours, but that should be our last one. Late next week, we may get down into the 40-ish range for an overnight low, but hopefully we'll stay above that frost mark. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo, just outside Seneca, Missouri. But look at the clouds thickening up as we have worked through the daytime hours. Temperatures still holding mainly into lower 50s, even though we do have the showers out there. I think we'll only drop back maybe 48 degrees later on tonight. Southerly winds have increased just a bit, and what that's going to do is keep our temperature up just a little bit for us tonight. And then also tomorrow they will increase throughout the day. A south wind kind of at about 10 to 20. Look at the light rain pushing through. This is all light rain, just light showers across the region, but a pretty good batch covers the entire viewing area. Where you do see the yellows popping up, that is showing us some moderate little batches of rain, nothing heavy. In fact, if we zoom in, you can see moderate rain along I-44 through Joplin, and then it gets a little bit lighter as you work back toward Miami downstream. But still, we have light to moderate showers. This whole batch is going to work through over the next couple hours, and then we'll get a little bit of a break later on tonight. So here's batch number 1. The main system, though, is still way out here, northern parts of Arizona, so it's going to take about 36 hours to get through. So that means plenty of chances for rain. All right, here's midnight. Heaviest batch is through, but you can still see we have these light showers kind of sticking around all the way into the morning hours, and then just hit and miss light showers through the morning hours for us tomorrow. Here's 9 a.m. As we go toward noon, that's when we'll start to see the rain picking back up, especially mid-afternoon. Showers, thunderstorms will start to develop. Some of these could pack a punch. Could be strong, maybe low-grade severe. So when I say low-grade severe, I'm talking maybe some wind gusts 50 to 60, maybe some small hail in some of these storms, but I don't think they'll produce anything more than that. They are going to produce some very heavy amounts of rain. So just bands, showers, thunderstorms. Here's 5:30. Let's go through the evening hours. You can see these bands of showers and thunderstorms just stick around throughout the entire day. Here's your forecast, 48 to start. 60 by noon, high temp is 66. We'll have those south winds 10 to 20, but those thunderstorms really picking up by the middle of the afternoon. Thunderstorms continue, heavy amounts of rain. Here's 11:30. Once we get past midnight, the heaviest rain will start to taper off, but we're still going to have these light showers sticking around into Saturday morning, and then we're pretty much clear for the rest of the weekend. But look at the rainfall amounts. A lot of areas are going to pick up 1, 2, maybe 3 inches of rain and some of the heavier bands of showers and thunderstorms. So we're going to watch out for that over the next couple days. 66 tomorrow and Saturday. Sunday looks great, 74. 82 Monday. Severe threat on Tuesday.
1 to 3 inches.
A lot of rain.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be soggy.
We'll see you later. Thanks, Don. Coming up, local healthcare workers making the trip to Michigan to help combat rising COVID-19 hospitalizations there.
Friday. Level information on KOAMnewsnow.com.
Ascension Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh is lending a few helping hands to medical workers and patients in Michigan. 14 nurses and doctors of Via Christi will work in ICUs and inpatient departments across Michigan.
We have over 150 ministries across the nation. So when one of our markets, such as Michigan, raises the call for help because of their patient care that they need to provide during this pandemic, we answer.
In Michigan, hospitalizations among people in their 50s have increased 700% since last February, outpacing all other age groups. With more than half of the adult population vaccinated, now the focus is shifting to young people as a new COVID-19 surge accelerates. Fox News correspondent David Lee Miller has more now from New York.
About 135 million Americans have gotten at least one COVID vaccine dose, and the program is still expanding. We hit our 200 millionth shot this week, and 80% of seniors, teachers, and healthcare workers are at least partially vaccinated. Now the focus turns to young people, thought to be the main drivers of a new spike in cases. In many areas, healthcare officials are winding down operations at big vaccination sites in favor of more targeted outreach.
We are going to potentially downsize them because what we're trying to shift towards is vaccines in the community. We're also doing at-home vaccinations.
There are also a number of new offers to help motivate the public, including special vaccine-only sections at some major league ballparks. The Los Angeles Dodgers are introducing the program at their home game this weekend, and vaccinated fans say they're looking forward to enjoying the game without social distancing.
They want to get everybody vaccinated, they want to get back to reopening everything, and we basically just want to get back to normal.
But there are still concerns about supply. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine remains on hold in the U.S. as investigators look into a series of rare blood clots. But overseas, the vaccine is being rolled out quickly after European regulators gave the green light.
It should not have a major impact on the vaccine push. They are relatively easy vaccines to use, and for that reason, they will be used worldwide.
A CDC advisory committee is scheduled to meet on Friday for a vote on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. In New York, David Lee Miller, Fox News.
Just ahead, the possible 51st state.
A decades-long push to reshape America's political map crosses its first hurdle. I'm Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. I'll explain coming up.
Everyone can afford furniture at Import Warehouse.
More stimulus checks are on the way. The IRS says it sent out a sixth batch of stimulus checks this week, delivering payments to another 2 million Americans as part of President Biden's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. The agency says it has dispersed about 161 million payments worth roughly $379 billion in the span of about 5 weeks. The latest round of checks went to 700,000 people who had recently filed a 2020 tax return. There's a sign layoffs may finally be easing. Economists have been expecting to see continuing improvement in the job market this spring, but the latest reading, this latest one, is an encouraging surprise. They were not expecting to see another improvement this week after this month's steep drop in new claims for unemployment benefits. The number of people filing last week again declined, this time by 39,000 to 547,000. And the number of continuing claims also dropped to 3.6 million. Both readings are better than forecast. However, new claims are still nearly double the number from before this whole thing began, before the pandemic. The American political map could soon look a lot different. The House passing a bill to make Washington, D.C. a state, crossing the first hurdle in this whole process. But as Fox News congressional correspondent Chad Pergram explains, getting it over that finish line could be an uphill battle.
The bill is passed.
The effort to reshape America moved forward as the House approved a bill to elevate Washington, D.C. into statehood. The 216 to 208 vote fell along party lines. The House considered such a measure for the second time in less than a year. Now to the Senate. But it's doubtful the bill has the votes to pass there. And looming even larger is the possibility of a filibuster.
Congress has a choice. It can continue to exclude D.C. residents from the democratic process, forcing them to watch from the sidelines as Congress votes on federal and D.C. laws.
The legislation aims to transition most of D.C. into the 51st state, to be called Washington Douglas Commonwealth. Its name for abolitionist Frederick Douglass. A new state would also mean representation for its citizens, 1 House member and 2 senators. Democrats say it's a move to give D.C.'s more than 700,000 residents a voice, but Republicans suspect something else.
Make no mistake, H.R. 51 is just Democrats' latest attempt for a power grab. While Democrats are trying to control the lives of the American people by force, Republicans are working on showing that we have the right policies to effectively govern.
President Biden supports the measure.
President Biden strongly supports D.C. statehood. Our administration will work with Congress to get it passed.
If the D.C. bill stalls in the Senate, Democrats could use a potential filibuster as a wedge to gin up support to change Senate filibuster provisions. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
If passed, the area containing the White House, the Capitol, and the National Mall would remain a federal district. All those used Taco Bell sauce packets going to be put to good use very soon. Going to learn about a special recycling program, a new one, when we come back.
Ideal place to get started.
Taco Bell wants to give its sauce packets a second life. The fast food chain says it's working on a recycling pilot program. Taco Bell claims more than 8 billion sauce packets are used every year in the U.S. alone. I believe it. And they say their plan is going to give the packets, quote, a spicier second life that doesn't involve a landfill. The company is partnering with recycling company TerraCycle. They have not released any specific details about how it's going to all work, but they say its participation will involve free shipping. The program is slated to be launched later this year. Hot sauce, one of God's many gifts to us. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
There's a new inclusive playground at Joplin's Landreth Park. You'll learn why the city made the upgrade coming up.
Plus, going to wish the happiest of birthdays to Miss Margaret Hollinshead, who turned 110 years wiser today.
At Area Hearing and Speech Clinic today.
There's a new and a unique playground that's about to open over at Joplin's Landreth Park. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to the city's Parks and Rec director to learn why they made the upgrade and what it means for the future of Joplin's parks.
Darla Wyatt is a Joplin mom who brings her kids to Landreth Park to play. And she says the brand new inclusive playground that's about to open at Landreth will make the popular park even better.
I think that's exciting. I definitely know parents that would take advantage of that and appreciate having a more disability-friendly park in this Joplin area.
So what exactly makes this playground inclusive? For starters, it's a lot easier to get on the playset.
The main thing that makes this inclusive is the ramp system. We have a ramp system that comes right off of the sidewalk. So it takes you right up into the playground itself.
Not only is the main playset wheelchair accessible, there are a number of fun things to do closer to the ground, including games and even a modernized classic.
Merry-go-round, which, back in the 70s when you were kids, we had those all over the place. So that one's really cool. Plus there's a chair that you can sit in that, you can get your buddies to swing you in and it spins you around.
This playset isn't Joplin's first foray with accessible amenities for 4-state youth. The accessible to all Will Norton Miracle Field has been a hit in Joplin for almost a decade. And Joplin's Parks and Rec wants Landreth Park and eventually all its parks to follow in the field's footsteps.
We're here for everyone, always have been, changing some of our philosophies for the better, and when we say everyone, we mean everyone.
In Joplin, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
The new accessible playground at Landreth Park comes in at a cost of $72,000. The ADA-compliant mulch that will surround it will cost an additional $72,000. Miss Margaret Hollinshead is 110 years younger today. She calls the Country Place Memory Care in Chanute, Kansas home right now, and that's where friends put together a drive-through parade with some pretty cool cars. I just saw that. Man, it's cool. Choir from Royster Middle School put together some special songs from each decade of Miss Hollinshead's life.
She's spunky, feisty, lively. She's fun to be around. She's very loving, caring. She's just a beautiful person inside and out.
You can tell. Hey, happy birthday to you. Miss Margaret Hollinshead was born April 22nd, 1911 in Chanute. She studied music and then taught 4 generations in the Chanute school system. Crowder College Neosho students can now take a printmaking class. College hosted an open house. People could watch the printmaking class, print an image on a t-shirt.
Yes, today we are having a printmaking dedication and open house for our printmaking room to celebrate our printmaking curriculum and opportunities for students to take printmaking classes as a part of a fine arts experience at Crowder College.
Today's tour was in Crowder's Newton Hall. Well, Walmart is phasing out pickup towers controlled by robots. I used this in Webb City, the Walmart there. It's built a 17-foot tall vending machine like towers in more than 1,500 stores so shoppers could pick up those online orders. But Walmart found its customers preferred curbside pickup. I believe it. You just sit in your car, right? About 300 of the towers are being removed from stores. Last year, Walmart stopped using inventory tracking robots in stores. Those things, because it found humans can get similar results. Happiest place on earth is going solar. Disney World has announced it's made a major upgrade to its resort that will enable the park to get nearly half of its energy from solar power. The company says the move is just one element of a major push to decrease Disney's carbon footprint around the world. 2 new arrays of solar panels are being installed at the resort. The arrays are being developed in partnership with local utilities in Central Florida. Disney says when the project comes online within the next 2 years, the new arrays will work with existing solar panels to produce enough energy to supply the park with 40% of its annual power consumption, which I bet they use a lot of electricity too. Goodness. All right, Peloton is hit with a lawsuit over treadmill safety concerns. A California woman is suing the fitness equipment maker for $5 million in damages, claiming its Tread Plus treadmill is dangerous for children and pets. This is coming after a consumer watchdog agency urged Americans to stop using the machine after 39 reports of injuries and 1 child death. The suit claims the Tread Plus could potentially cause injuries such as broken bones, brain injury, and death, as noted by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. Peloton telling Fox Business it has no comment on the lawsuit, but earlier this week it said children under 16 should never use the Tread Plus. City of Minneapolis is remembering the life of Dante Wright. Wright was fatally shot by police this month during a traffic stop. Family, friends, civil rights leaders gathered to pay their respects. Fox News correspondent Matt Finn has more.
We ask, Lord God, that this would not just be
be a moment in time, but this will be a seed that we will see the fullness of justice.
An emotional funeral for 20-year-old Dante Wright in Minneapolis, just days after the city celebrated a guilty verdict in the death of George Floyd.
It is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do to stand up for our children. It is the right thing to do to speak up for our children.
Family, friends, and community leaders gathered at the Shiloh Temple on Thursday to say their goodbyes. Also in attendance, relatives of George Floyd and other black men killed during police encounters. Members of Dante Wright's family gave emotional remarks.
When he walked in the room, he lit up the room. He was a brother, a jokester. He was loved by so many. He's going to be so missed.
The Reverend Al Sharpton delivered an impassioned eulogy.
All of Minneapolis has stopped today to honor the Prince of Brooklyn Center.
Wright was fatally shot April 11th in nearby Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, during a traffic stop. The fatal shooting reigniting calls for Congress to act on police reform.
When you change the law, you create accountability. And if you have a new set of accountabilities, people's behavior shifts.
The officer who shot and killed Dante Wright has been charged with second-degree manslaughter. She's currently out on bail. In Minneapolis, Matt Finn, Fox News.
A bit later, an update from the U.S.-Mexico border.
The number of unaccompanied minors entering the country isn't slowing down. I'm Kevin Cork in Washington with more on what states are doing to take matters into their own hands to stop the surge. That's coming up.
Well, another cold start for us today as we started at 30 degrees, but we did make it up right around 60 during the afternoon hours, even though we had a lot of clouds throughout the day. Great shot, time lapse, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, temperatures mainly holding into lower 50s across the region. We'll drop back upper 40s a little bit later on tonight. South winds will increase later tonight and then into tomorrow. That's just going to help our temperatures out a little bit, so we're not going to bottom out and down into the 30s near freezing once again. But look at the rain. This is mainly light rain, so we don't have to worry about anything strong or severe, but we have these showers rotating through, and where you see the yellows popping up, that is kind of light to moderate rain. So we are getting some pockets of at least a little bit heavier east of Joplin, Sarcoxie east, and then here's I-49, so Carthage, and then picking up a bit in northeastern parts of Oklahoma, and you can see this is kind of spotted throughout the entire area. This batch is going to roll through over the next few hours, and then it'll be a little bit more scattered by the time we get to about the midnight hour into the early morning hours. But our main system way out to the west. So it's got a long time before it makes it through here, about 36 hours. So until it does pass by, we're going to see these rain chances. Here's midnight, scattered light showers lasting through the overnight hours. 3 a.m., let's go into the morning hours, still scattered light showers. So you're going to start the day still a little bit on the wet side. Scattered showers continue through the morning hours. Let's go to noon. Still these kind of hit and miss showers, but it's the afternoon that it starts to get a little interesting. Showers and thunderstorms start popping up, and some of these could pack a punch. Some stronger storms, maybe even low-grade severe. If we had anything low-grade severe, we're looking at some gusty winds, 50 to 60, and maybe some small hail, but definitely heavy amounts of rain. Look at the bands rotating through. So here's now 5:30 in the evening. Let's pull out your day planner. 48 to start, 60 by noon. High temp is 66. Heavy showers, thunderstorms through the evening hours into the overnight hours. So now we're looking at about midnight. This will be the last heavy band, and then we'll get these kind of wrap-around lighter showers into Saturday morning. So we're going to start Saturday a little wet, but once we get past mid to late morning, then we're really going to start to dry out. But look at all the rain. A lot of areas are going to pick up 1, 2, 3 inches of rain out of this next storm system. So that's something we definitely want to keep our eyes on. All right, temperatures tomorrow, 66 Saturday. Saturday afternoon looks great, 74 Sunday, 82 Monday. Tuesday, thunderstorms back in. So if we look at severe weather chances, so next Tuesday is the 27th. Moderate threat for severe weather and a high threat for severe weather on May 2nd. So that's next weekend into May 3rd and then again May 7th. So it gets real active here in the next couple weeks, but May 2nd definitely has my eye.
Okay, which is not good. But you know what? It's been a crazy spring so far.
It has. It's spring, winter, spring, winter,
Yeah.
spring, winter. Yeah.
All right, Doug, thanks. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with KOAM Skywatch Weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store as well. Just search for KOAM Skywatch Weather app. Coming up in sports, high school baseball presenting some exciting matchups today. Webb City, for example, looking to bounce back after taking their just third loss of the season earlier this week. Plus, Carl Junction taking a crack at the #1 team in the States in Willard. Danny Terzer has the highlights next.
Society's Fast and Furious, May 8th.
High school baseball has seen the midway point of the season come and go. Carl Junction has 11 wins through 15 games, including 6 of their last 8. Now the Bulldogs have a big, maybe even their biggest test as they take on the #1 team in the state. Carl Junction hosts Willard today. We'll pick this one up in the 5th. Willard leads 3-2. 2 outs, wild pitch. Drew Bayer scores. Big tying run for the Bulldogs. Then 2 outs here for Willard. Runner on third. The grounder and the throw to first. Keaton Johnston extends, foot on the bag. Huge play to prevent the run and keep it tied. Last chance for Carl Junction in the 7th. Noah Southern is the guy. Walk-off single for Southern. Cole Stewart scores the winning run. The Bulldogs go wild as they take down the #1 team in the state 4-3.
Noah's a good player, and he's a good hitter, and you know that when he's at the plate there at the end and he's got the opportunity to do something, he's going to be in the right frame of mind and take advantage of opportunities, and he did that today. That was a great team win. Our guys did a great job playing for 21 outs and staying in a game and competing, and proud of our guys and the way they overcame some adversity early on, and truly you hope it's the momentum that carries you on to some other big games we have coming up.
Right behind Willard in the Class 5 rankings is the Webb City Cardinals at 2. Webb City and Willard squared off earlier this week, with Willard getting the 5-4 edge. The Cardinals were handed just their 3rd loss of the season. Today, they have a chance to bounce back against Branson. Here's Tragan Parker, hits it to the second baseman. The Cardinals trade an out for a run. Devin Weathers scores to make it 1-0. Same inning, Matt Woodmansey goes deep. That's an RBI double. Shane Knoll rounding third and slides home. Later, Weathers again. He steals third here. Then Woodmansey pops this one up to right, does his job. Weathers comes in. It's 3-0 Cards. Webb City finishes the job. They beat Branson 11-2. Today is the quarterfinal round of the NJCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Coffeyville is one of the 8 remaining teams, earning their spot after dominating 95-56 win over Odessa in the round 2. Coffeyville hits the floor against 24-1 NOC Tonkawa. The Red Ravens down by 7 at half. They turn this thing around, winning 83-80 in overtime to advance to the semifinals tomorrow. Markeith Browning posts a team-high 23 points in the win. We'll be right back with more news.
Critics on Capitol Hill continue blaming the Biden administration for the ongoing rise in migrant children entering the country. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork reports on what some states are doing to combat this issue and how Mexico is getting involved.
The influx of unaccompanied minors pouring into the United States continues posing concerns and is forcing states along the southern border to tackle the growing crisis themselves.
For anybody to tell you that there's not a crisis on the border would be intellectually being dishonest.
With close to 300 minors crossing into the country each day, Arizona's governor is declaring the situation at the border an emergency and sending in the National Guard.
We're willing to pay for this out of our own budget, even though this is a federal responsibility.
But some Democrats think these actions are a waste of time.
I just hope that this isn't one of another Governor Doug Ducey's Trump tactics that are, at the end of the day are costly, ineffective, and really a distraction to the voters.
Meanwhile, Mexico is pledging to help. Their president declaring the government will build more than a dozen camps to shelter migrant children in hopes of reducing the number of kids entering the U.S.
We have taken the decision to reinforce actions on our southern border. It is better to prevent it on the southern border to provide attention to the children.
But immigration reform could be on the way, as a bipartisan group of senators are now working on a bill that could ultimately help to slow the surge. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Some Hollywood news coming up. Gonna preview who may win this year's Academy Awards. Almost time for those Academy Awards. So, for those catching up on this year's nominees and curious who might win Hollywood's biggest honor, here are some predictions of who may win those top prizes. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
And they sometimes call you nomads.
There is a frontrunner for Best Picture this year.
Nomadland is the clear favorite. It swept the precursors, the Golden Globe Award, the Producers Guild Award, the British Academy Award.
But look out for Screen Actors Guild Award winner, The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Boasts a fine script from Aaron Sorkin, a Hollywood favorite, and also features a terrific cast of actors. It could be the night's big surprise for Best Picture of the Year.
Really, why you do the things you do?
The Best Actress race, it has just been a real topsy-turvy derby this entire year. It could be Andra Day playing the title role in The United States vs. Billie Holiday. She won the Golden Globe. It could be Viola Davis. She plays the title role in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. She won the Screen Actors Guild Award. I am betting on Carey Mulligan in Promising Young Woman. This was the most original, daring, and intense performance by an actress this year. She's just sensational.
For Best Actor, the late Chadwick Boseman has already won several awards this season.
It's Chadwick Boseman in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom versus Anthony Hopkins in The Father, and the Oscar goes to Chadwick Boseman. Just an electrifying performance in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
In supporting categories,
the Oscar goes to Daniel Kaluuya in Judas and the Black Messiah. This is the biggest acting lock of the night. For Best Supporting Actress, the Oscar will go to Yoo Jung-yoon in Minari. If she wins, she'll become the first Korean actress in history to win an acting Oscar.
And Best Director, which for the first time has 2 female nominees.
Chloe Zhao, she has won all the precursors. I think that she is an absolute slam dunk, and she will make history as the second woman and the first woman of color to win the Best Director Oscar.
My mom says that you're homeless. Is that true?
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with drone video of an Earth Day candle ceremony in Thailand. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.